All right. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate you being here. Michael Coe. Again, since our folks are new, if you'll introduce yourself and what station or media outlet you're with. Thank you.
Hey, Justin, Michael Coe with WCHL Chapelboro. What was it about Carolina that convinced you to transfer here?
I think part of it is just the traditions that Carolina has, just being successful, being a top program in the country, or in a contested for a national championship every year. I think another part of it is just the amazing job Coach Davis did, not only as a recruiter, but as a coach. I mean, he's just a real people person. He connects with all his players. I've seen it with his recruiting. Um, he's just a special guy. You can sense that when you first meet him. I think that's another big part of it as well.
And how cool is it going to be to play so close to your hometown in Cary?
It's going to be awesome. So I know there were some times like the last 2 years I really wasn't able to go home a little further away. My mom, my brother, my sister, it was hard to get out to my games, but now it'll be a lot easier for them, which is probably the best part about that.
CL, then Andrew Jones.
Hey, Justin, this is CL Brown. I'm with the Raleigh News and Observer. I was curious where you're going to fall in terms of what position you will play, because it seems like you're versatile enough to be in a number of different spaces. How has it been communicated? How do you kind of view what your role is going to be, where it's going to be?
I think that's a question for more for the coaches, just kind of how that shakes out. But I can give you what I kind of know. I know I'm looking to more play the 3 and the 4 this year with this squad, and then just the way our roster shakes out, the way I've been playing. Don't know where more minutes or where I'll be at in terms of that, but also wherever our coaches need me to play, I'll play. I know I played the 5, so I'm at Virginia the last 2 years. I know I played the 4 up here. I'm playing 3. It doesn't matter. Just kind of want to be on the floor. I want to compete. I want to win games.
And once upon a time, the rules were if you transferred, you couldn't do it within the ACC. But now that you have you given much thought of what it's going to be like when you do face Virginia again?
I mean, it'll be fun to see familiar faces. Of course, I'll want to win. I mean, that's no doubt. But also, I think the biggest part about that is just the relationship I had with those guys, and the mutual understanding we had when said I wanted to leave, and how understanding they were. I think it'll be really really cool that there's no bad blood. So I mean, of course, it'll be competition like always, but they're very professional over there. And I appreciate everything they did for me the last 2 years. So, but I'm definitely looking forward, playing, seeing familiar faces.
Andrew, then Pat.
Hey, Justin, Andrew Jones with Tar Heel Illustrated. There were some times last year when Coach Bennett put you in games and you had some success, and afterward he said that you guys needed some toughness, you needed some of the grit and rebounding that you brought to the floor. And then we had Armando last week. He was asked what player surprised him so far during the offseason. He mentioned you and said it was because of your competitiveness. Could you kind of speak to how much your toughness, competitiveness, and those kind of intangibles are a big part of your game?
For me, those things are natural. To be a competitor, to be I would call like a ultra competitor. I want to win in everything. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, sometimes we play pool in the lounge, and I want to win every game. It's it's little stuff like that, but it carries on to the court, and it's just natural. So wanting to do that, wanting to do all the little things, I feel like sometimes you get guys that can't really or don't really have the ability to do those things naturally. And I think that's where I come in, and I could be special. But that along with, I've been really grooving my shot, my handle, keeping everything tight, and performing at a high level this summer. We just want to continue that and keep that going throughout the season.
I was going to ask you about your skill set. What skill do you think you've actually improved the most since last season?
I feel like it's hard to say. I know we work on, as a player, you work on everything. But I feel like one thing that's really been, monumentally better is my shooting. I think I shot it well. Just didn't really display it in games last year. But, just being able to continue to do that and do it better. I'm looking forward to, playing in a system where, I'll be able to showcase that skill more.
Thank you.
Pat,
Hey, Justin, Pat Welter from WRAL Sports. You mentioned your family. So what do you think this means to them, and how excited they are to see you play more? And if you permit me to ask, what do you think your father would think if he was still here to see you?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think they're very proud. It's crazy because we, like, growing up, I would, mimic playing like mini basketball in the house with my brother. It'd be like, oh, Justin from Carolina or whatever, playing against his brother from Duke, like, stuff like that. Where, like, it's almost like a dream come true, but also, it's not super surreal now that I'm here, and like now I'm like, all right, I'm in it, because now I have to perform, and there's that sort of aspect. But also, I think my dad would be really proud. My screensaver is actually my mom and my dad when he was wearing that UNC hat, and it's just a reminder that, like, he would be proud of me. And I always keep that with me every time. My phone is something I look at every day. So it's a nice reminder.
And then just to follow up there, it meant so much to you to go to North Carolina. From what I understand, you did have an opportunity to maybe come here the first time around. Also, NC State as well recruited you. So why is it different now? And did you regret not going to UNC from the get-go? Kind of what changed from the recruiting to this time around?
I haven't given it too much thought, but I would say, sometimes going through this process, you're just trying to figure out what's best for you in your career, for you as a person, for your career on the basketball court, education, all that stuff. And, I think I had really good options in all three of them either way. I don't think I could really go wrong educationally. I don't think I could have went wrong, with my life journey, but also, with basketball, trying to figure out what was best for me. I mean, maybe I made a wrong decision, maybe I didn't. I think everything worked out how it was supposed to. I think I gained a lot of things my last 2 seasons, things that I don't think I would have been able to get necessarily if I was here, but also think that UNC has a lot to offer me as well. And I'm really excited to be here. And, you kind of can think, what if, but at the same time, I'm where I'm supposed to be, and I'm here now. And that's the most important thing for me.
Greg Barnes, then Brendan.
Justin, do you remember what Roy Williams liked about your skill set when he was recruiting you out of high school?
It was to the extent of my versatility, my size, my skill set. I shot the ball really well in high school. I played kind of that point forward position. I led my team to win a lot of games my senior year. I basically did a little bit of everything. My defense wasn't as great coming out of high school, but that's something that's significantly improved a lot since I've been in college. And so I really feel like I have a complete skill set now, and like I'm a complete player on both ends of the court.
What changed defensively? I mean, I know you went to a school that emphasizes defense, but was it more of a mindset for you?
Partially mindset, but part of it was, you work on defense for almost an entire practice every day. And so it just naturally you're going to get better at it. I mean, I sucked my first couple months there. I mean, even you could argue my first year, I wasn't the greatest, but then coming in that second year, that mentality and everything, all the work that came through, you start to see a lot of changes and changes for the better.
Thanks.
Brendan.
Hey, Justin, Brendan Marks from The Athletic. I was going to follow up on something Andrew asked. And when we talked to Armando and RJ last week, another thing they mentioned about you was your energy. And they said, I couldn't tell you the last time that we had a guy like this around here. You're already smiling when I say that. I mean, to hear your teammates say that, what does that sort of mean to you? And how much pride do you take in providing that?
I think it's important to have, Armando calls me the spark plug. And, it's a tremendous opportunity, but it's a lot of responsibility as well. So being able to get guys going. I mean, I feel like the energy I bring can get guys going. Even if some days you have those bad days, or maybe the energy's off, maybe it's a rainy, cloudy day. No one's really feeling it. Having that spark to get everyone going, I think is really important. So I think that's something that I can bring as well. That's one of those intangible things you can't really see on paper, but it's something that you notice with your team.
Is that Justin Armando exclusive nickname, or is anyone else Or are you the spark plug across the team?
I haven't really talked to too many other people about it. I know our strength coach talked to me about it as well, and some other coaches mentioned it. But I mean, it's definitely not. I don't think just Justin Armando thing, but I think it's something known that I bring the energy, and that's just a responsibility that I have to take on.
Thank you.
Kip, then Ross.
Hi, Justin. Kip Coons for Press Box View and Kip Coons Sports Blog. I think a lot of fans were caught by surprise when you announced you were transferring, because I think they saw you as a likely starter. You were one of the few bigs back at Virginia for this year. What kind of following up on what you were asked before, but was there some issue that playing time or position or just culture that led you to transfer, especially within the league?
It's a good question. There's nothing wrong with the culture. I had no personal problems with anyone on the team, whether that be coach, some other faculty, or my player, like my teammates. I mean, you could argue maybe I wanted to play, a little faster. Maybe I wanted to get up and down more. You could argue that, I was looking to kind of, play less on the block and kind of like, 15 feet out and, expand where I know my skill set can expand. You could argue that that could have happened at Virginia the next year. You could argue that it couldn't. I can't really give you like a clear answer, I guess. I don't want to. It's such a hard question to answer, I guess. I don't know. Like, there's nothing wrong with Virginia. I could have stayed and had a great career, but I just felt like it was time for a change up. I needed to change in senior year. I needed to go somewhere where I felt like I would flourish more. And I feel like UNC and Coach Davis, can offer that. And that's ultimately the reason why I left.
Got time for about one more. Ross.
Hey, Ross Martin with Inside Carolina. This kind of relates to that question, but a little bit different. I mean, you've watched Carolina play for the last 2 years, and in kind of evaluating and what Coach Davis said to you, how do you think UNC is going to play different this year under Coach Davis compared to maybe what you've seen from them following them last year as a youth and the last 2 seasons?
So, I mean, this kind of is another reason why, I'm here right now, is that Coach Davis wants to play more spread out. Usually UNC, very successful, a lot of championships won with 2 bigs, but he feels like sometimes that can shorten up the floor for the guards. And so this new offense we have is going to space everyone out. And with the bigs that we have and their skill sets, we're allowed to do that. So, we have Dawson Garcia, who's different than Brady Manick, who's different than Armando, and Armando's different than me. We're all different from each other. We all have different skill sets. Some of us can play more out on the wing, some of us play more inside, but we can all stretch the floor. We can all put on the floor to an extent. And so, therefore, we can space the floor out a lot more, which ultimately will help our guards out, be able to, play their game at a more efficient level. And then, we'll be able to do the same thing. It'll allow the bigs to expand out a little bit more. There's nothing wrong with, how UNC played in the past, obviously, great track record, but also I think this new way is more fitting towards our roster and who we have. And that was one of the most attractive things about UNC.
Great. Thanks, man.
Last one, Pat.
And going off that a little bit, the style of play, I mean, how much of that style do you think will help you prepare to potentially play in the NBA?
I think they're directly, correlated. I think the way Coach Davis is playing is more of a NBA style offense. And so I think it'll not only prepare me, but everyone else as well, because they're going to have to get used to playing in this style of offense, but we're going to have years of prior experience doing it rather than if we didn't. And so I feel like, this is good for everybody, but definitely good for me too, as well, to be a swingman who can go 3, 4, sometimes small ball 5. I feel like, this is an awesome experience because it doesn't really matter what position you play. They're all pretty similar. And, if you're running 4 out, I mean, the 1, 2, 3, and 4 all are in the same kind of spots throughout the entire offense. So, that'll be fun. It'll be intriguing. And I definitely think it'll be a treat for Carolina fans. Awkward silence. I hope everyone's having a great day.
I think Steve stepped out there for a bit.
Yeah.
Have you met any famous alumni yet?
Pretty much everyone that's came through Carolina this summer. I mean, I've seen Tyler Hansborough's been around a lot, Kenny Williams, Justin Jackson, just with Kobe White, a couple minutes before coming out here. Being able to pick all those guys' brains, Theo, I mean, you name them, they've been around, and they've been nothing but helpful, for this transition, talking to guys that have been where you want to go and, been successful in the place that you are in this current stage of your life. It's awesome to be able to pick their brains and, learn from them.
Matt, you're muted.
Sorry. Thanks for joining us, Justin. And hang on, everybody. We're going to grab Brady next. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Justin.